Today's video is going to answer the question, how do you seal a painted wood sign? If you had that question, stick around. We're going to talk all about it. Hey, I'm Sarah. This is Creative Ramblings, where I share simple, inspiring videos every week. From simple crafts to DIY home decor, along with expert tips on everything you need to create at home. If those videos sound like something you want to watch, be sure to subscribe to Creative Ramblings so you don't miss a video. Today, we are talking about how to seal a wood sign. Now, the other videos in this playlist talk all about how to build, stain, stencil, and frame wood signs. So if this is a technique you want to learn, check out the rest of this playlist and take a look at those videos. Now, the most common question I get in the comments and via email is, how do I seal these beautiful wood signs that I've created? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So this is the wood sign that I use in almost all the videos as an example. I show you how to build this, how to stain it, and this is done with a couple different methods of stenciling. So if you haven't watched those other videos, check out the rest of the playlist and learn how to get to this step. There's also a video in this playlist that talks about how to create a stencil font with holes in the E's and everything. So be sure to check out those other videos. Now, the final step in making a wood sign might be to seal it. But I'm gonna give you a little tip here. I don't seal my wood signs. This particular sign, not sealed. The ones hanging in my home, not sealed. Most of the time, unless you have a really special circumstance, you do not want to, you do not need to seal signs that are going to be indoors. The stain that I use, the paint that I use is gonna hold up really well. It's not gonna yellow, it's not gonna deteriorate, it's not gonna flake off. It's gonna look really good for a long time. Now, that's kind of a short video if I end it right there. I will tell you that if you're gonna make a sign for your front porch or something that's going to be exposed to any elements outside, or even maybe something that's on a screened-in porch that has a lot of sun or wind or some moisture, those signs you want to seal. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, how to seal a wood sign that's exposed to the elements. So here's what we're gonna work with today. I've got 3 pieces of wood here that I have stained using my go-to Minwax stain. This is a gray, a classic gray stain that looks beautiful and it gives you kind of a weathered look. This is an oil-based stain. It also comes as a water-based stain, and we'll talk a little bit more about which sealer to use depending on the stain that you use. So we've got the classic gray underneath, we've let it dry completely, and then I've just stenciled a little leaf on each one of them using a white chalk paint. Now, I did this yesterday. This has dried for a full 24 hours. Whenever you're building a sign, you're staining it, stenciling it, always allow for a lot of dry time and make sure that everything is completely dry before you apply any sealer so that your beautiful artwork on the sign can stay beautiful. All right, method number 1. The first sealer that I'm gonna talk about is a polyurethane. This is a high gloss, clear sealant that is oil-based. It works best on an oil-based stain. However, you can apply this over a water-based stain as well. What I like about this is that I typically use an oil-based stain, and so it adheres really nicely to my signs if I'm gonna put them outside. This particular brand dries really quickly and it goes on nicely. One downside to using an oil-based polyurethane is that it can, over time, have the tendency to yellow some bright white and cool colors. So this particular leaf here is in white. There is a tendency for this stain to yellow that just a little. Now, if you're making a more rustic looking sign, if you're using an antique white or warmer colors, I would definitely recommend this sealant. So anytime you're applying a sealant, you want to use a good brush. Now, a brush like this is what I love about going to a store like Home Depot or Lowe's, is that it's going to tell you exactly what you need. This is probably about a medium quality brush. It wasn't the cheapest one, it wasn't the most expensive one, but it's telling you right here what it's used for. It's used for oil-based paints and stains. So you want to make sure that your stain is completely dry. Everything on here is completely dry. We're gonna brush it off with a soft cloth. We're gonna open up the polyurethane, and I'm just gonna brush on a very thin coat. Let it dry completely, and then to build up that shine, because this is a glossy finish, you can add subsequent coats depending on how shiny you want it to be. Now with an oil-based stain, you cannot wash this brush, it won't come off. Oil and water don't mix. So you're gonna wanna use some mineral spirits to clean up this brush and save it for next time. All right, method number 2 is water-based polycrylic. Now this is a really multi-purpose sealer. This can work for just about anything. It is water-based. It could go over an oil-based stain. I've used it on oil-based stain before and it works just fine. But you could also use it over a water-based stain and paint. The sealant is water-based. If your stain is water-based, they're gonna just go really nicely together. We're gonna apply this the same way we did the polyurethane. You wanna make sure everything's completely dry, wipe it with a soft cloth, and just apply a thin coat. What I like about polycrylic is that it doesn't have a yellowing tendency like polyurethane does. I can apply this to my signs and I know that the color and the artwork that I did is going to look just as beautiful with the stain as it does without. I also choose to use polycrylic in the clear satin finish. So it actually comes in a matte finish. I like the satin, it's one step up. It's not high gloss. It's kind of right in the middle there, and it doesn't take away from the artwork I did on my signs, but it still seals it and keeps it looking nice. You can also get polyurethane in a couple different finishes, but I choose to use clear gloss when I use my polyurethane. Now when you're done with this, because it's water-based, you can just wash your brush in soap and water, save it again for next time. The third method for sealing a painted wood sign is using a spray sealer. Now this is a polyurethane, but it's water-based. This is my go-to product when I have pieces that are going to go outside and that are a little bit larger. So I'm gonna show you how to do it on this small piece here, but I used this specifically on a larger tiered planter that I made last year. I had sealed it with stain. I actually didn't paint that one, but I sealed it with stain, and I knew it was gonna get a lot of water because it is a planter. It sat out all winter and it still looks phenomenal with this sealant on it. Now again, this is a crystal clear gloss, so it's gonna have a high shine finish to it. You can get this in other finishes, but when using a spray paint, I like the clear gloss look of it. You can use this over a water or an oil-based stain. And this is really just a preference. You can get this exact same formula in a brush on, but if you're going to be doing a larger piece, sometimes it's just easier to go with the spray. So that's a personal preference. So no brush needed. Make sure your stain and your paint are completely dry. Wipe it with a cloth. Take it outside to a well-ventilated area and just spray a thin coat. Let it dry completely. Go ahead and add a second coat if you need. So these are the 3 methods that I would recommend when you need to seal a wood sign. I'm gonna go back to the beginning here and mention that for all my signs that I keep in my home to decorate with, I do not seal them. They are not exposed to the elements, they're not exposed to a lot of fingerprints or touching. They're perfectly safe in my home. For my signs that I keep outside or signs that are exposed to the elements, I do choose to seal them. And these are the 3 methods that I like to use. So let's take a look at them one more time. Method 1 is an oil-based polyurethane. This is a high gloss finish. It works really well on an oil-based stain. The one downside to this is if you use bright white or cool colors, this polyurethane may yellow your finish a little bit. If you're making a rustic or warm colored sign, this stain might be perfect for you. Option number 2 is water-based polycrylic in a clear satin finish. This works really well for a water-based stain, and isn't going to give you any kind of yellowing. I chose the clear satin finish. You can go high gloss or even matte, depending on what sheen you like your finish to have. No matter what sheen you choose, it's gonna give you a really good protective coating on your wood sign. Option number 3 is a spray version of polyurethane. This is a water-based version. It works great over wood signs, water-based stain. You can also use it over oil-based stain. And because it's water-based, it's not gonna give you any yellowing on your paint. I definitely recommend this for large pieces that are going to be outside. Sometimes the spray is just easier to use than a brush on like one of these. So here you have it, option 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully this answered the question, how do I seal a wood sign? Because that is a question that I get all the time. And so I'm really hoping this video is helpful for you. If you have any other questions on how to seal a sign, what to use, let me know down below. And if you want to build yourself some wood signs, be sure to check out the rest of this playlist. I go over a couple methods for building a sign, what I use to stain them, and then all kinds of different stenciling methods and techniques that are going to get you beautiful signs. You can make these signs for your own home decor, you can make them for gifts, or you can sell them. Lots of options here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to Creative Ramblings for more simple, inspiring videos. Bye everybody. Want more simple, inspiring projects? Be sure to follow Creative Ramblings over on Instagram. I've got behind the scenes stories and sneak peeks of my projects up every day.